Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today at Juanette's Crafting Corner for my Slow Stitch Saturday. So now I'm ready for my still life project to add my sweet little Miss Fiona underneath my craft desk. And you've seen me stitch this. And so I'm just going to do a rough cut first because I need to see what or how big of an area I'm going to stitch for her blanket underneath. And I'm going to insert a picture here of actually it's a beach towel. A picture of the beach towel that she lays on in my craft room. I'm going to do a picture, insert a picture with her on it and without her. I hope I didn't mess that up. But let's just do a rough cut here. And what I might do, I might needle turn applique this so that it's, yeah, I think I'm going to do that so that it's a nice edge. So let's see, let's go in here just a tiny bit. I'm going to go through the back so I can kind of see where I'm at. We'll do that. I think everything else is pretty good. I have a little string there. I hope everyone is doing good. So I will show you how to do the needle turn applique, but I'm also going to show you how to do a basket weave stitch. And that's the stitch I'm going to use to create her blanket that she lays on. So this is my piece. And if you guys recall, in the last video, I put a braided piece of fabric around the washi tape drawers. And I've marked off the place for the journal. It's going to go there. And so this is where her little blanket is going to be. And I think that's the perfect size for her. And what I've done is I've created a template, basically, of the size of the blanket that I think would look good. It's 8 inches in width and 5 inches in height. If I stitch it down there and then lay her there, then I think that's going to look nice. I do think it's going to look nice. Now up here, I need to do something up here. Now whether I create, because there are more things on my desk, whether I create more things to put on the desk or canther stitch. I'm definitely going to do a bunch of canther stitching still around all of this, but this is what it's going to look like. So what I need to do is measure 8 inches by 5 inches. And I only did this paper here so I could kind of see what it was going to look like. So I'm going to bring in a ruler here and I want to measure 8 inches. And I have a Flexar pen here that will erase with heat. So just going to come in here, and this is a guideline for the blanket. I really should do, and then 5 inches. I really should probably have a T ruler. I wonder if that should have gone down lower. Let's see what that is. Yeah, it should go down lower. So I'm going to go down lower with it. See, I'm glad I have this template. It needs to come down low. So at about there. And like I said, because this is a Flexar pen, I will be able to erase this pen mark with heat. So yeah, that's the bottom. And then we're going to go 5 inches up on both sides. I'm going to mark this off. And then across, again, 8 inches. And let me just kind of double check, because what I'm going to do is do these in 1 inch. Is that 1 inch? No, it's not. I'm going to do them in 1 inch squares so that they look symmetrical. So I don't get confused with where the lines are. I'm going to take this to my iron and iron that out. So you guys can see very easily that this pen erases beautifully with an iron. And actually, I do have them also in the description box under sewing supplies. So now I want to do 1 inch blocks. So we're going to go here, there, there, and there, because those are going to be the squares. If you recall looking at the picture, they are different colors. And what I'm going to use is the wool threads that I bought in Scotland to stitch this basket weave. So we need colors that way. So then now I'm going to join these and make some lines. We'll just go all the way across each one, and then I have to decide. I need to look at the picture of a blanket or look at the blanket itself. Okay, maybe I've used this up enough to where it is, oh no, it just needed a little extra. I thought maybe I'd used it up and I needed to get another one. They come in a bunch of colors, the pack. I think it was, oh no, like 5 different colors. Okay, so that's a little off, but I don't think it's going to matter. That one's thinner. How did that go? Oh, you know what? I didn't do the full inch. Somehow this needs to come down. So once again, because, you know, I'm kind of a perfectionist. I want this to be perfect. I'm going to take this to my iron and erase those lines. Do you see how fantastic those marks erase? Okay, let's try again. We're going to lay this right here And then we're going to go 4, 3, 2, and then 1. Come down, do the same thing. I don't know why that was off. I think instead of using the mark, I used the ruler itself, and somehow it was off. Like I said, once I do the basket weave stitch, it probably won't matter. But what I'm going to do is try this again. Now see, this one's up, but I don't know if I'm going to do it just like it shows. It's not going to matter, you guys. I'm sure it's not going to matter because the wool thread is going to be thick. But somebody did mention in my video that they appreciated how exact I was in not only my instructions, it was on a tutorial for my new way that I was doing a cover for a journal. She mentioned that she really liked how exact I was. I can't help it. It's just the way I was born. Like, I've always been like that. Okay, I think this is going to be better. It's going to look more. Yes, okay, those are more evenly spaced. Okay, now I need to look at the blanket itself and see, just mark this line here, and see, I think they're rectangles. I don't think they're squares. You know what? They are squares. So I need 1 inch, I think 1 inch squares. Okay, so we need to go now, okay, 1 inch this way. So I think if I just lay this like this, because I think this is 1 inch. It seemed like it was. We're just going to lay this like this. And I think it's going to be fine, just like this, if I do this. Yeah, those look like about 1 inch. Now this, because of the wool threads being pretty thick, it's going to make this pretty thick down here, but I think it's going to be okay because this up here where the washi tape drawers are, they're pretty thick too. So this is going to be pretty heavy on that canvas. Hopefully when I get to the end, it will be even. It looks a little bit bigger here. How did that happen? You know what I'm going to do? I am just going to lay that here, mark this off here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's still going to be okay. I'm going to come in with the iron and mark that off, and that's going to be the blanket there. These are the colors I've decided on, kind of a blue, a mustard, a reddish color, kind of pink, a green, and a purple. So what I've done is I went ahead and marked in each block the color so I don't get confused. I've gone ahead and done some of the basket weave stitch so you could see what it looks like, but I'm going to show you how to do it. And I have realized that if you use a hoop, it does make it easier because you want your fabric to be tight. So I'm going to put this hoop on here and tighten it up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I didn't have it over the thing before I was tightening it up. Okay, there. Come on. Okay, there. And now let me tighten it up. Yeah, because you want your fabric to be a little bit taut. Okay, there we go. And so I did the blue and the yellow. Now this will be pink, red, pink. And I have a piece of the wool threaded up. Now it's thinner than this, I can already tell, but I am going to show you and make sure I'm definitely in focus. I'm going to show you how to do a quilter's knot. So what you're going to do is you thread your needle and you lay your needle long ways. Then you lay your thread, the end of your thread, over the top of your needle. And then what you're going to do is wrap your thread, and this is for any thread, threads or yarn, whatever. You're going to wrap it around a few times, push it to the end, and you're going to push it in between your thumb and your index finger. And then all you do is grab a hold of the needle while still holding what you had pushed through your finger, pull it all the way through, and it will give you a nice knot. And then if you want that tail cut off, you can just trim it off a little bit. But that is called a quilter's knot, and it really is an easy way to tie a knot in the end of your thread. So let me pull this like this. So we're going to do pink first. And the key is to not put your stitches too close together, because you need to be able to see your thread to weave it in and out. So you're going to start at one corner and then go down. And then you're going to come up next to the previous area that you've stitched. And like I said, you want some room in between, but not a ton, or not too tight. It's kind of like you kind of get a feel for it in a minute, and it got caught behind the blue here. Okay, there we go. And so then now I'm going to come across here. And do you see how it is close to it? But not, where's, this didn't get, oh, see, yeah, that needed to be pulled through more. And then pulled through here. It was not tight in the back here. Okay, so then I'm going to go next to it. Go down next to it. And then I'm going to come up there. And then across to the next row. So I have to tell you a story as I do this about my sewing machine. So I bought a Bernina sewing machine probably 30 years ago, 35 years ago. I was a quilter at the time. And I'm going to bring a light over here so I've got better lighting. You have to tap the camera occasionally to get it to focus. But anyway, I was a quilter. When I bought this machine, I was taking quilting classes at a quilt store that also sold Bernina sewing machines. And I don't know if you guys know about sewing machines, but there is some really high-end ones. Bernina is one brand. Viking is another brand. I think Fifeser, I think that's maybe how you say it. It's another brand that's high-end. But there's some high-end sewing machines out there for people who are serious about sewing. But so anyway, I bought a Bernina. And 30 years ago when I bought it, it was $3,000. And which is a lot of money. But I used it for, like I said, 30 years. A lot of years was quilting. But in the last 5 years or so, it's been for sewing paper, which if there are any quilters out there, you're probably gasping that I actually used a Bernina sewing machine to sew paper. That's not what's ruined it. So I had noticed that it was getting more and more difficult to turn on. Turn on. I would turn the switch to turn it on, and it would flicker, and eventually it would come on. And the time between coming on, turning the switch and it actually powering up and coming on kept getting longer and longer. And so when I got back from my trip, I went to go turn my machine on, and it would not turn on. And so I knew. I'd known for a little while that, something was going on with the machine. So I took it into a shop, a quilt shop that sells Berninas. The one that I bought the machine at, they're no longer in business. So I took the machine in and told them what was going on, and they said, well, they would have a technician look at it. So 2 days ago, he called me and he said, well, Miss Hewitt, I don't have good news for you. I was like, oh gosh, what? He goes, well, the motherboard to the machine is shot. And now this machine was not a computerized machine, but I guess you still needed some type of a motherboard for machines back then, sewing machines. So he said the motherboard is shot, and to replace it will probably be about $1,000. And he said, well, that is if I can even get a motherboard for it, because the machine is so old, they may not make that one for that machine anymore. And he said, I'll call Bernina and see if they have them. And it kills me to realize that, oh shoot, that machine was so expensive. But he had a good analogy. He said, well, it's just like when you buy a car. He says you buy a brand new car and everything works in it. And he goes, then after so many years, the car just, there's more things going wrong with the car than what it may be worth it to have them fixed. So you end up buying a new car. So I thought that was a good analogy, because it just kills me that my Bernina is gone. Okay, so I've made all my lines across. So now is when we're going to start the weaving. I'm going to turn this so it's easier for me to see everything. And you basically just weave your thread. Now, I failed to mention the needle I was using. This is called a bullion knot needle, and you can see it's quite long. It's a couple of inches long, and you want a long needle. So what I'm going to do, and I realize now I turned it the wrong way because I'm right-handed, so I got to go this way. Okay, so now we're here. Okay, so that's where we ended, is in this corner right here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come up on the edge, and I want it to be fairly close to that edge. And then now I realized I have this the wrong way. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm probably making you dizzy by flipping this around. Oh, shoot. Okay. All righty. So now I got it the right way. So let me make sure I'm in focus, and hopefully I won't. There we go. I won't bump the camera. Okay. So now you're going to weave this thread in between. So we're going to start, and you're going to use the back of your needle, because if you go with the sharp end, especially with this kind of wool thread, and it's like 2-ply, it's going to split it. So you use the back or the blunt end of your needle, and you're just going to go under, over, under, over, under, over, and continue that all the way across those lines. And then bring your thread through, okay? And then take the end of that needle and push it up close to the edge of where those things are. And I'm going to pull it. Now we are going to put some thread in between here. So I'm not totally worried that it's not going all the way up, but just kind of push it up as far as it will go. There we go. And then you're going to anchor it down. So then we're going to come down toward the top here and anchor that. Okay, so yeah, just maybe needs to, and it will look a little bit better as time goes on, as I keep doing more and more. So now we're going to come up next to where we just went down, and we're going to weave the thread the opposite ways. Okay, so again, because I'm right-handed, I'm going to turn this around. Okay, and I think that's, there we go. I just want to make sure it is in focus. So this one here, it looked like it was under. So now we're going to go over and then under, and look at your threads as you do it, just to make sure you're doing it the correct way. And just take your time. If you need to, go to the end and just thread it back and forth, over and under. Okay, I think I got that the correct way. And then pull your thread through, and then use the back of your needle to pull it close. And I'm just looking to make sure I did it the correct way. And then you're going to come down and anchor that one. And do you see how it came up there? So I'm going to pull it down, and as I pull it down, I'm going to take the back and push it up more. Okay. Then now I'm going to come back up for the next row. And you're going to be close to the previous stitch. And again, because it's easier for me to go right to left, I'm going to turn this around and do a tap tap. Yeah. Okay. And so now, so the last one, if you look real close, that was over. So now we need to go under first. So under, then over, under, over. And then you just keep doing that. So anyway, so he said that I'll get back with you on whether or not they have a motherboard. And but I need a machine. And I just kind of, he had already warned me that it was going to be probably close to $1,000. And I just want to make sure I got them all. And I just thought, well, I'm pretty sure that I need a new sewing machine. So I thought, you know what? I'm not going to buy another Bernina. Number one, I don't need that kind of sewing machine. I don't sew enough, to have that high end of a machine any longer. So I started doing a little research, and come to find out there was a brother, and I do have it listed down in my description box, but there was a sewing machine. Of course, I started looking at reviews and what have you. And there was a brother machine that had good reviews. And so then I went to, of course, to Amazon to see if they had it, and they did. And so I looked at the reviews there. And there was one lady, one of the reviews was from a lady who said she mentioned all the Berninas that she had had over her lifetime. Okay, the next time, since the last one was under, now we're going to go over and under. And so she said she mentioned all the Berninas that she'd had over her lifetime. And then she even had a Viking at one time, a Viking sewing machine. And she taught classes, sewing classes, a Viking sewing class for that company. And she wrote the review that she said, for the money, this little brother machine is amazing. It was $269, you guys. It was not an expensive machine. And she gave it 5 stars. And I thought, well, for $269, I'll buy it. Well, it has 150 stitches programmed in the machine. And it came with 11 different feet for the machine, presser feet. I think that's what they call them. And one of which was the walking feet for quilting, just in case I ever decide that I want to go back to quilting. I kind of doubt it. It takes a really long time, and I don't see I don't see myself doing it. So the last one was over. So now we're going to go under. So anyway, so yes, 150 stitches, 11 different feet for $269. Now the guy has not got back to me yet with the information on my Bernina. Oh, and this was the other thing. So I said to him, I said, so would you then be willing to buy it for parts? He goes, no. He said, I just want to make sure I got that correct. He said, no. He said, we just put them in the dumpster when that motherboard goes out. He goes, we won't even use any parts for it. So, but the good news is I have another machine now. And my sister has a Bernina. She is a quilter. My sister still quilts. And so I told her, I said, well, when I get the machine back, because I talked to her and was telling her, my woes. And I said, well, when I get the machine back, Carrie, I will mail you all the feet. And if they fit your machine, because some of those feet are, $60, $70, $80 a piece. I said, if you can use them, great. If you can't, well, then you just throw them away too. So I have a new sewing machine, you guys, that I'm going to sew paper with. But it wasn't expensive. Oh, shoot. Oops. So this is very labor intensive, but it does make for a beautiful background. So, but what else do I have time to do? This kind of stuff. And that's a lot of squares. It's going to take me a while. It it's taking a long time because I'm trying to stay focused with the camera, and I need to move those over a little bit and not pull them quite so tight, so that you guys can see what I'm doing. It'll be easier if I'm just sewing it myself and I can have it up real close to me and not have to worry about the camera. But isn't that turning out pretty? Turn it back around. Let's see, what other news do I have to tell you guys? Oh, my poor sweet little Miss Fiona. Well, she's laying down here next to me. So, you guys know a couple of months ago she had surgery. She was spayed. I could never find her a husband. So, she's not going to get to be a mommy. Well, I had noticed over the last couple of months since her surgery. Okay, the last one was over, so this goes under. Well, she was itching more and more. And I mean, I knew she kind of always itched, but it just kind of got more. Well, she really was even digging even more. Now, if you need to and you can't see, go ahead and pull your thread through and pull it close, and then take a look again. Okay, so now I need to go over and then under. So anyway, I finally, she was licking her paws so much. So I thought, well, honey, let me look at those paws. Well, she's looking at me. She knows I'm talking about her. They are so smart, these dogs. They're so cute. So anyway, she has licked her paws raw. And it didn't occur to me until really like doing a little research and thinking about it that when you're on an antibiotic, it can mess with your gut microbes. So she needs to be on a probiotic and a prebiotic or whatever, probably. And so I called the vet. Well, he's out of town, and he's a wonderful vet. I love him. He's out of town, but I do have an appointment for her for next Tuesday. And so I'll take her in. But in the meantime, I took some. Well, first of all, I started with I put a sock on her foot and wrapped it. But then that kept coming off. So today I went to the grocery store and I bought an ace bandage, a thin ace bandage that is adhering. And so I have her little paws wrapped up in ace bandages so that she can't lick them. And then the other thing, because it seems to have gotten worse over the last couple of days. And so I thought, well, I do know that, and I hope there isn't a vet out there that's part of my YouTube channel. Subby said, yell at me for this. But I know that dogs take a lot of the same medicines that, humans do. And so I thought, well, I'm going to get some Benadryl for her to help her with the itching. And so when I was at the grocery store, I bought some children's liquid Benadryl, and I gave her a dose of it. I think it's helped. Are you better, little girl? Huh? Are you better? So we'll see what the vet. Are you whining? What's the matter, little girl? What's the matter, huh? You talking to me? You such a good girl. Well, oh shoot. I hate when that happens, that knotted up there. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see what the vet says. Okay. So that was over. So this one must be under, over. Yeah, so my sweet little girl. Oh, now she's going right underneath my feet. She likes to rub up against them. What, honey? Can you hear her, you guys? What? Oh, she loves to get up in my lap. She thinks she's a lap dog, even though she's 40 pounds. Isn't that turning out neat? I love this. And I've seen it done like where there's a design of an actual basket, and then you weave. Oh, I did it one time. There is a gal by the name of Ann Brooke or Brooks, I can't, something like that, but she did a challenge one year. It was 52-week tag challenge. There was sewing, and she gave you a new prompt every week, and you had to, what happened here? Don't do that to me. Oh, don't do this. Oh, please, come undone. Oh, gosh. See, if you talk to your thread, it will listen to you. I'm going to try to find that picture of that tag and show it to you guys. That was a fun sewing project. I ended up putting all of those tags in a book. And okay, so that one was okay. What was the last one? See, it gets kind of confusing at the end. I'm going to put the camera on hold. You're just going to continue to do it. And then once I get to the end, I've got to have this closer to me, and I need the magnifying glass up closer. So I'll be back in just a second, guys. Okay, so I've got to the end, and all you have to do is tie it off like you would any other piece. Just a couple of knots, double knots, and then I'm going to go on to the next color. And it was a lot quicker without having to worry about the camera to do this. So yeah. And then I'm going to show you that book where I did those tags. And I did do some weaving with that book. So let me turn the camera off and bring it up to a level that you guys can see. So here is the book. It was one of the Italian ledgers that I bought that I put these in. But I put all the tags in this book. I sewed to where they look like pages, but I did do a couple where there was weaving. One was this one here, where there was all different kinds of threads that I used. Let's see what the prompt was. It was probably weaving, but I made it look like, let's see, woven threads. Yeah, tag number 25, 2021. And I put those to where there's Velcro so that it holds them down. But that was one of the ones. The other one is, this is kind of some weaving here that I did with this red tag. So those are two examples where I did some weaving. And then the other one, there was another one. Oh yeah, here, the basket. Remember I was telling you that you could actually have a design of a basket. And I did do the weaving there. And then I did all these flowers there in the basket. Let me see what that prompt was. I'm curious. The prompt was the daisy stitch. Oh, so that's what, yeah. So the lazy daisy stitch is the flowers. This was back when I used to drink Diet Coke. I haven't drank Diet Coke at all. Now here I wove fabric. What was the prompt? Now I'm curious to know. Weaving fabric. So weaving fabric as opposed to weaving threads. Yeah, but so this was a really fun project. I did some thread painting there. One of these days, maybe I'll show you the whole book. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me today for my Slow Stitch Saturday. Finally starting to work on Miss Fiona's blanket for underneath my craft desk. And I will see you guys on Tuesday for journal making. I'm going to be working on the French journals. So thanks so much. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks and bye-bye.